And on to all of my shamanic vixens, freaks, and ghouls out there. Of course, you already know. You already know what time it is. It's time for shamanic Guff. Back at it once again. I am your lovely host, Auric Obscura. All right, part 4 of the test. I am so sorry, guys. Like this. This, like, yeah, this took me forever, my bros. My bros. But we're back at it. The test part 4. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? All right, let's get back at it. The test part 4. All right, let's do it. Does the smell of perfume or cologne give you headaches? It depends on the fragrance. You know what really gives me a headache? Like bad body odor, BO as they call it. All right, here's a side tangent, my friends. This is Oric's question of the day. Okay, every stream I'm going to pose just a keeping it real question. And in that vicious comment section below, because you guys keep it real on this lovely thing called social media, let me know how you feel. Okay, so here's Oric's question of the day. Why is it, guys, when I go to public restrooms, okay, some people don't flush the toilet? Like, what's the reason for that? You know, it's like you wouldn't go to your, grandma's place or anybody that you care about, right? And not flush the toilet. And guys, I have gone to restrooms, okay? And you walk into the stall and you just want to turn around. You're like, no. There is no way I can go to the bathroom here. Like, no way, you know? And thank goodness, right, for those like toilet seat covers. But even then, there's some toilets that you look at, you're like, nah, man, no, bro, nah, bro. as this lovely generation likes to say, nah, bro, nah, bro. Uh, but all my extraness aside, yeah, that's the question, guys. Why is it that, like, you go into public restrooms and, like, some people just, they don't flush after themselves? I wonder that. Like, some people don't flush after themselves. So if you could answer that question for me as our mini discussion as I play the test here, I would love it. Because I wonder that. I'm just like, oh man, it's like, and then other times you go into the, the bathroom, stall, and there's piss everywhere, there's feces everywhere. You're like, how, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be an asshole, because I understand, sometimes, mistakes happen, but I still wonder that though. Why is it that, like, some people are just like okay with not flushing the toilet or wiping after themselves? It's like, let me tell you guys, shout outs to those of you who clean for a living. You guys are some bad bitches, man. Because I'm sure, like, to have to clean, like public restrooms and shit like that, my hat's off to you. So shout outs to all of you guys who clean or, do that type of work. You guys are fucking heroes. You guys are fucking heroes. But yeah, so I would say, to backtrack here, it depends on the the cologne or fragrance. I like wearing both. I like some colognes. I like some, fragrances. But yeah, it just depends. So I would say it doesn't give me headaches per se. I'll say no on this one, unless it's like really overpowering where I'm just like like that. Okay, then I would say yes. But in this case, no. Perfume and cologne, they don't give me the headaches. Did you see a shadow move in your room a few minutes ago? I would have to say no, because if I started seeing like shadow spirits and stuff, I'd be like, can I help you? You know, like day in the life of a spiritual empath, like just. But yeah, that's one of the things, guys, that comes with if you're a spiritual person, like, and it depends on your abilities, guys, because not everyone can see like shadows and spirits like that. There's some people who can, and there's some people who can't. There's some people who can like feel the energy of spirits and things like that. So there's all different types of clairs, and to me, as being a spiritual baddie, I feel they're all valid. So I have not seen the shadow, so that's usually good. Huh, that's fortunate. Do you ever hear your name being called, even when no one is calling it? Yeah, that has happened to me once, and then I'm just like, oh shit. Oh. Like you're just like, oh, well, I'll just ignore that. Rule one of ghost hunting. No, I'm playing. But yeah, usually if you hear, a spirit calling your name, it's like, let me find out if I the origins of that call, like. But usually, rule of thumb, if someone's calling your name, you don't want to go towards them. Nah, you don't want to do that. But so yeah, I have had that happen. It's scary as fuck. Do things in your home often go missing and then reappear later? No, no. Let me think about that. No, I have not had that happen. So, because if I did, I'd be like, all right, get the fuck out of here. But I digress. Do you ever hear footsteps around you when you're alone? Thankfully, no, because if I said yes, I have to cleanse the fuck out of my place. Like that's you gotta know. It's like, okay, what's the purpose of these spirits being here? It's like you don't just want spirits like just walking around. Like you gotta find out, because like you pray that they're good spirits. They're not trying to keep your ass up at night. Like that's not a good time. All right, so I would say no. So that's good. Do you ever hear random knocking noises around you? Yes, I have, and that is scary as fuck, guys. Like when you're sleeping and then you hear like you're like, what the fuck? Like, you're like, what's going on? You like wake up in a cold sweat, like, oh fuck, like what is going on, man? That's never a good time. So this is why, when you go through, learning about your spirituality, understanding your spirit team, angels and ancestors, spirit guides, if you believe in all that, that's the important thing, in my opinion, is you have to learn the difference. Like, what is the difference between the way that your spirit team talks to you and like a spirit that you don't know, and things like that. Like that's is very important, guys. Like people who do like paranormal investigating, or people who are like, they do that type of work, they're practitioners and stuff, and they get training and things like that. Yeah, safety is very important when you are a spiritual practitioner, and protecting your energy and those type of things are so important. They're so important, especially when you're an empath, like really important. So yeah, I have heard knocking and sounds like that, and sometimes it can be scary as fuck, and you're like, oh shit. But other times it's just like, a spirit just being like, oh hey, what's up? And you're like, oh, what's up? Could you kindly let me know what your name is? Like you scared the shit out of me, bro. Like, day in the life of an empath. No, I'm like, Do you often look at the same time on the clock every day? So, what this is called synchronicities, okay? But here's the thing, guys, as you do research your understanding, no matter what your spiritual path is, it's very important to understand like the difference between like a synchronicity and like downloads and messages and that type of stuff. This is why it's important to have like a good spiritual mentor, and in combination to doing that research, because then as you advance in your practice, you will kind of start to distinguish like the difference between a synchronicity and it's just okay, the time is 3 o'clock or something like that, and then you're able to distinguish that, just from like, of course, this is, I am not a expert of spirituality, but I'm just talking from personal experience, and that's why, guys, it's always important, do your research, do your research, very important. um but just from my personal experience, you know, a synchronicity to me is something that I just continue seeing like all the time. Like it's like in my face, I'm seeing it all the time, all the time. And then that's when I'll do research and, figure out, okay, why am I, receiving this synchronicity? Like, what is the purpose of that? Versus when I just look at my clock and I'm like, oh, the time is this. Okay, so it's important, to learn how to like to distinguish that. That was something that I had to learn, early on. In my spiritual walk was, understanding the messages that I receive, and I'm still learning that, even after all of this time. But yeah, I do have that sometimes where I see synchronicities like that. It's interesting. Have you ever felt your feet being grabbed at night while sleeping? Hell nah. Okay, if your feet are being grabbed while you sleeping, that's called a Lifetime movie plot. Okay, ain't nobody got time for that. No, no. I'm glad I never experienced that shit. Do you have any pets? I would love some fucking pets. Like, I am obsessed with capybaras. Capybaras, guys, are the best fucking animal on the motherfucking planet. Okay? Like, this is just an animal with like a constipated face, right? But there's love. There's love in there. I've heard many stories of people just hugging capybaras and they're just like, man, I felt so much love, from that stoic face of the capybara. But no, they are, just from what I've learned about them, they're such loving creatures. I'm obsessed, like obsessed with birds. I love my parrots and all of that. I love a sassy, a sassy sun conure, right? And I enjoy my dogs and cats and stuff. I just enjoy um, the animal kingdom. You guys are aware that my spiritual path is shamanism, so I'm very shamanic, and at least my path of shamanism that I like to practice is really connecting with nature and embracing the animal kingdom and loving the trees and all that, like good stuff. So no, I don't have any, but I would love, like, I like maybe one or two pets. I'm like obsessed with call ducks though. Like, I love a sassy call duck, a sassy husky. Yeah, that's where it's at. Is your favorite color green? No, actually, I like purple and black, like my hoodie here. Black like my soul. No, okay, that's cliche goth joke. No. uh, oh, well, this took a turn for the worse. Da 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 da. Awkward questions. All right. So, are you attracted to a family member? No, 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 no. It's just that's not my vibe. That's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. No, okay, okay, no, I am not. Okay, no. Awkward questions from the test. No, but no, I am not attracted to a family member. No. Mm-mm. If you won the lottery, would you share the money with anyone? Yeah, I would. Cause I feel like if I didn't, I would be like struck down by Zeus or something. Like, you didn't share. You know? Yeah, I would. You know, I'm a nice bitch. I might be all goth and dark on the inside. No, I'm totally joking, guys. Basic goth jokes. But no, if I won the lottery, yeah, I would definitely share. I think it's important. Sharing is caring, right? Until people, stop liking you. No, I'm playing. I'm such a bitch, guys. No. No, but that's the truth though. It's like the nicer you are, sometimes it's like the more some people hate you. It's not everybody. I say that jokingly, but yeah, it's like the nicer you are, it's like people are like, I fucking hate that bitch. It's like, oh shit, like, I'm sorry. You're such a ray of sunshine. Like, oh, that's horrible. Horrible. Terrible. It's like that song from one of my favorite drag queens, like, your makeup looks terrible, but I love you anyway. Like that's literally, guys, how I navigate through life. It's like, I know 90% of the time, people are like, oh, you're a fucking bitch, but I'm nice and gothic and cuddly on the inside. No, horrible, guys. Goth jokes for days. But if I won the lottery, yeah, I would share. I would love to like open up, right, like an affordable beauty spa, or a place where people could get like nice beauty treatments and all that. That would be fun. You know, that'd be kind of good. More affordable goth makeup lines. That would be great. But I don't know, guys. It's like, the more money you have, that's like the more people hate you. That's the more bullshit you deal with. So it's like, to me, at the end of the day, would winning the lottery be nice? Fuck yeah, right? But I think at the end of the day, it's like, I would rather have the money so that I can do all the things I want to do. But then there comes a point where when you have a lot of fucking money, then it's like, it's hard for you to make friends. It's like, it's hard. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't when you're successful. And success, it varies from person to person. But just one thing from the research that I've done, right, learning about like my favorite celebs and, stuff like that, is the more these people get successful, that's like the more hate they get. The more that they're having fun and doing the things of like enjoying life, that's like the more you look at their comment section, it's like, oh yeah, you fucking suck. It's like, oh, that's great, you're fucking happy, like stuff like that. And it's, yeah, and and it's like, yeah, it sucks, it sucks. But yeah, like I've learned that there's some celebs that they're really nice and things like that, as an example. But yeah, it's hard, guys, to be famous, to have fucking money like that. You're in a rock in a hard place, because it's like you've worked, okay, I'll give you an example. You work hard for your money, right? And then you get to that level of success. It took you like 10, 15 fucking years. And then you get to that point and you're like, oh, okay, I can finally fucking rest, right? And then it's like you got a lot of people hating on you. It's like, ah, fuck, it's like, so this is why, guys, of course, I can't speak for all celebs, but I understand like why some celebs like keep to themselves. It's not them necessarily being an asshole. I just think it's just because it's like they just don't want to deal with all the shit that comes with being successful. So I see why like some celebs keep to the energy of themselves. Like they love their fan base and all that, which is awesome. But I see why they keep to themselves, because it's like, you know, It's as soon as you try to like enjoy the fruits of your labor, it's like, here comes the haterade, here comes the, it's hard. So yeah, being successful, guys, at all levels is a rock in a hard place. It really is. Because it's like, when you're on the come up, it's like, people enjoy your success, they enjoy the story. And then there's always exceptions to the rule, but then you get to like a certain level of success, and then it has an opposite effect where it's like then people start to hate you. People don't, they're just like, you don't deserve it. It's like, oh shit. But and then you tell your backstory, like I just want to tell you guys, like, FYI, it took me like 20 fucking years to get here, as an example. And I understand the other side of the story too, because sometimes you have those, like, the bragging kind of celebs, and then you have a different conversation where it's more of the, it's like, oh, okay, that's great, you got all the cool stuff, but there are people too who they work just as hard as you as well, and let us be grateful, right, for being able to travel the world and enjoy. Like, it's a blessing, guys, to live a life where you get to enjoy what you do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to do that, and that's what really helps me, guys, to reflect on things like being humble and having gratitude. Is I think about, like, oh man, there are like people in this world that work their ass to the ground every day, and they don't get to enjoy sometimes the things that they do. So this is why, when you get to live a life where you're enjoying what you're doing, it's like you don't want to take it for granted. And that's something that I have learned as being older, being an elder, but yeah, let's continue here. So yeah, I would share that money, honey. Sharing is caring until people think you're a bitch. But no, never mind. No, I'm like, I'm just an asshole. I'm sorry, guys. If you could be the dictator of your own country, would you accept that role? Like I said, guys, it just ties into what I was talking about before. Like, this is similar experience of like being a celebrity, right? When you're the head of an empire or country, I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that, falls on you, your team, all of that. So I would say no, because that's a lot of responsibility, man. Running a country, and, you make one mistake, and, here comes the cancellation train, choo choo, cancellation train, choo choo, cancellation train. So it's a lot of responsibility, guys, to be in those type of positions where you're an ambassador and those type of things. There is a lot of pressure. People see you as a role model, and so yeah, it is not easy. So I don't think I could do that shit. Do you ever wonder what it would be like to be in prison? Absolutely not, man. From the shit that I have read, it doesn't sound like a good time. No. There's a great show too, guys, if you want to watch it. It's an old show. But it's called Orange is the New Black. Just watch that show. Like, it gives such a interesting, perspective on like prison for like women and stuff like that. And then there's classic shows, right? Like Prison Break and like stuff like that. But yeah, prison is something that, should not be like sensationalized, because that's some hard shit, man. From what I've read, like, that's some tough shit, prison, man. But the main thing that I've kind of learning about that is, the key is, once you like get out, trying to make that difference in your life is not easy, from what I've read. So, the people that have done it and they turned their life around, it's amazing, guys, to hear stories like that. But yeah, I would not wonder that. That's a hard time there, boo. Do you like fishing? Hell yeah, I like fishing, man. I watch those like catch and cook fishing videos, like I am like so obsessed with like catch and cook videos. I'm really I'm a basic bitch, guys. I'm just whoring it up here. No, hoeing it up, I'm stupid. Yeah, but fishing is tight. I like watching all those like catch and cook, shrimping videos. Fucking, they get all this like shit ton of shrimp. I'm like, I want to eat all of that all at once, cause that's how I roll. All right, yeah. So I like that fishing. It's pretty cool. I just like nature stuff. Like I remember, I used to watch like growing up like outdoor channels and stuff. I was like obsessed with that shit. I was like, oh, look at that big ass fish. Hell yeah. Do I like hunting? Yeah. I like what they call sustainable hunting, really showing, respect to the land and, respect to your catch. That's always a good thing. And, being grateful for the meal and, all of that. It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. So I like hunting. Shout outs to the hunters out there. Do your thing. Do you like camping? I like glamping. Have you guys heard of glamping? Guys, look up like glamping in Japan. Enough said. I mean, these people are bringing like fucking video game systems, and they have like, like a Paris Hilton like log cabin. It's epic, man. But yeah, I like glamorous camping. Like the camping where it's like you really camping, I don't think I could handle it. I'm not sure, guys, if you've seen that show, what they call it, Naked and Afraid. The show is fucking wild. like not that camping, they're getting like bitten up by mosquitoes and shit. You're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I like to be glamorous when I camp. So I'm a diva, guys. I'm sorry. So yes, I like glamping. Do you like guns? Now, okay, so for me, I like archery, so that's more of my preference. Nothing wrong with guns, for hunting and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I'm more of into archery, bows, and I love like Japanese weapons too, like samurai swords and those kind of cool things. One of my favorite games with like ninjas and stuff too. I like that too. Like people who train to be ninjas. That's some badass shit right there. Or like I'm not sure if you guys have seen on social media too the people who do what they call it, like the kung fu training. Guys, kung fu training, that's not for the weak, man. Like, they bodies be bruised up from the training and shit. I'm like, dang. But yeah, I'm more of a bow and arrow and that kind of stuff. Nunchucks, that's fun. I recently actually, as a side tangent, I actually got into what they call aerobic boxing. I bought one of those like music like boxing sets and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm more into that, like the aerobic kickboxing. You will not catch this bitch in a ring. Like I would tap out. I'd be like, "Yep, TKO, TKO, yeah, squad." So. But yeah, I nothing wrong with guns, but I'm more into like more ancient traditional kind of weapons, that kind of stuff. Are you getting tired of answering questions? No, this is really fun. Would kinky questions, Would you consider yourself to be a little dirty, a little naughty, a little kinky? No. that's like my daddy Dom voice. Would you consider yourself, princess, to be a little kinky? It's like, oh my god. I'm a whore, guys. Sorry. just hoeing it up here on Shamanic Goth. But would I consider myself to be kinky? I love how these questions, like, y'all just think I'm a hoe by the end. All jokes aside, but no, I would consider myself kinky, and this is why, to answer this, right? So I love like smutty romance novels and things. Like I really like dragon shapeshifter romance. I do enjoy reversal harem. I enjoy, shout outs, lesbian romance, my, LGBTQIA plus romance. That's good shit. Some good shit. Um, I'm like an inclusive like romance reader. That's the way I like to describe myself when it comes to literature and stuff. And I love, oh guys, have you seen some of those like steamy TV shows and movies from freaking Spain and like like Portugal and shit? It's like, damn, like Brazil and shit. You're like, how you doing? How you doing? But yeah, I would consider myself kinky. Like I don't, like I mean, for me, that type of stuff, it doesn't bother. I mean, we all, as grown ass adults, right? We all have our fetishes and like fantasies. Like I that's something I talk here on the show too, is like I review like spicy, um like TV shows that I like and stuff too. But that shit coming from Brazil, bro. When I tell you sexy, okay, sexy, 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 very sexy, and I fucking love it. Don't apologize for that shit. So yeah, here on the show, we're very kinky inclusive here. So I talk about my daddy dom romance. I enjoy like you like see all the tea being spilled on this show. Like I just I like being myself. That's something I've learned. you know um I do content for people that they would describe as being older and stuff like that. And that's one thing, guys, you realize as you start to get older and shit, is you got like you just stop caring what people think, and you realize that you have to love yourself. And you will find the people who you vibe with. And excuse me here, guys, I don't know, guys. It's something about this year. Everybody's getting motherfucking sick. I'm still recovering, apparently. But yeah, I would consider myself kinky. I'll answer that question. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, fuck it. All right. Eyes are the window to the soul. Do you agree? Yeah, I agree. Like, y'all, let me tell you, when you watch Lifetime movies, like it helps to apply to this. Like, because you'll see the character and you just you look into their eyes and you're like, yeah, uh-huh. Yep, that motherfucker is crazy. Yep. No. But no, eyes are the windows into the soul. There's a lot that you can, definitely, when you look into someone's eyes, you can feel the whether it's, you're in a romantic moment or you're getting to know someone. Eyes have a frequency, and that's something that, you learn when you're spiritual too, is the eyes are, they say eyes are the window to the soul. So yeah, I have to agree with that. All right, let me get some hydration in this bitch. Let me drink a little of my I actually bought some rose and excuse me here, rose and hibiscus tea. So that'd be good. And then I put a little bit of honey. It's good when you tip of the day part two. When you do a lot of like voice acting or that kind of stuff like this, it's always good to have like tea and things that you can drink in between, so it keeps your throat, keeps your throat all bassy and lubricated. Yeah, we're just whoring it up on this show today, guys. No, I'm horrible. All right, so do you always keep your promises? No, I don't. I need to do a better job because I am the biggest fucking procrastinator, guys, on the fucking planet. I'm lazy as fuck. You know, my space is a fucking mess. I am a trash bag. You know, like I need to work on that. Like seriously, getting more organized. Like I really, yeah. Gosh. Would you ever completely trust someone who's lied to you? Absolutely not. Okay. Like this is the same rule that let's say you're out here and you're in this the wonderful world of dating, right? That that's something that I would look at is okay, does this person words and actions, right, align to what they're telling me? Like are they really practicing what they preach in? Because this is very classic, like you see this on social media, right, where like someone goes out, they go out on a date, everything was great, and then the person they were talking to told them, "Oh yeah, I'm totally single. I'm not seeing anyone." Wink, wink. you know. And then come to find out, they're like seeing like five other people on the side. So like this is just my thing, and this is my opinion, right? At the end of the day, because people are gonna do right what's right for them, but I think you know cheating is hurtful, guys. It really is. So I just feel like, because I know there's all different types of relationship dynamics out here. I just think it, just be honest with what you want, what you're attracted to, because it really sucks, right, when you get into a relationship and then you find out the person has been like actively cheating on you. That's like hurtful. And this is why, guys, it's so hard for some people to um excuse me here, to fall in love again, because like if you've been cheated on like multiple times, it's like, ah, come on, so like I just feel like just be honest with who you are, what you're attracted to, what type of relationship dynamic you want, and then it's like eventually you will meet someone who vibes with that. And don't get me wrong, to be fair, the other half of this conversation is you'll meet people and then you think they're giving you honesty, but then that's not how they really feel, and then they tell you later after you have gotten with them, and then that really sucks because then you feel like you're being deceived. So I personally believe, and this is just me, I would not trust someone who lied to me once, because what else are they lying about? See, that's something that, my even myself, when I was in my 20s, that's something that, I had to learn too, is, if someone lies to you once, they're probably going to lie to you again. So, and maybe I'm just different, but it's like from that point forward, as I got older too, I give people one chance, and that's it. If you lie to me, then we're done. Then I'm not talking to you. It's a wrap, and I know that sounds harsh because, throughout this game, a lot of the questions were like, are you a forgiving person, and that and that type of stuff. But I think when it comes to things like cheating, when it comes to people being deceptive and you're seeing signs of the deception, why would you stick around? For someone to just keep, right, emotionally hurting you over and over and over and over and over again, you know? So to me, you have one chance, right, to get to know me, talk to me, but if I find out that you lied, then that means how can I trust you? Especially if you're looking right at the context of, being romantically involved with someone, being in a relationship with someone, like you want transparent honesty, in my opinion now, right? From the get go. From the get go. So if you're not being honest with me, like what, like once again, like what else are you lying about? Like, stuff like that. All right, so I would say no. Are you a only child? Hmm. I wonder that sometimes though. Cuz okay, so I'm going to answer this in a different context cuz this is interesting, right? So there's some people, right? They're part of a family, but they feel like an only child because they get treated that way. Because they've had to, figure out, life on their own. They haven't gotten the best guidance and that type of stuff. So I'm going to take it from that perspective. That like for most of my life, it's like I've always been like, like most people, right? Always being compared to others. And, I always felt like I couldn't authentically like be myself because I, I, I felt like I had to fit the standards of what people expected out of me. So most of my life, yeah, I felt like I was lonely like that and like an only child because of that. Um, so yeah, I would say yes in that context. We just hoeing it up today, guys. No. Do you ever enjoy being drunk? I have never been drunk, and this is why, like, I'm not, a prude by any means. I understand, some people like to, who are adults, right? They're over 21, of course. I know some of them like to, partake in the beverage. I get it. But for me, I tried, alcohol when I was like, 22, 23, and I just had the worst fucking reaction to it. It made me uber nauseous. And this is not like, hungover and stuff. And then the other thing is, some people too, guys, they avoid alcohol just because, they might develop like right addictive qualities to it and things like that. But I've never had like a passion or drive to partake in the beverages. And once again, the other thing that's, very important is, you really have to understand the responsibility that comes with drinking, because drinking is a responsibility. It really is. And I also feel it's important for people to understand what alcohol does to the body, um, long term and your health. And when I looked at my health history, I deal with a lot of like chronic, illness and stuff. Chronic illness with alcohol, in my opinion now, not a, to me, it's not a good combination. So that's why I don't drink. Like, I'm not a prude being like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just not like that. Because sometimes when you say you don't drink, some people can judge you for that. So I just want to tell you guys, it's okay. Okay. Whether you drink or whether you don't, it's okay. At the end of the day, it's important to be responsible. Okay. That's the important part. Be responsible. Understand, what comes with drinking. Make sure you have designated drivers. Don't be drinking and driving. Driving while intoxicated, not smart. Don't do that shit. So for me, what I like to promote, at least on my show, is mocktails and stuff like that, like non-alcoholic stuff. Just because I never got into alcohol, it's just not my vibe. It's not my thing. I don't judge people who do, but you just gotta be responsible with it, because like I said, alcohol is it's a responsibility, and you really have to be a mature adult to understand, understand your drinking limits, understand your alcohol tolerance, and those type of things. And if you know that you're the type that, some people, they just want like one drink or two drink, that is okay. Do not feel pressured into participating in things like binge drinking and those type of stuff, because it can really, I've read about that, how that has affected, some people's health. So do what is, what is comfortable for you. If you're the type you want one to drink, that's fine. If you're the type you don't drink at all, that is also okay. That's totally fine, you know? So, yeah, I have not been drunk, And then I think the other reason why it turned me off was, at least for me, when I was in college, I ended up going to what they call a party college. And I think for me, just seeing, and this is just my opinion now, just seeing so many people vomiting, throwing up, like, just, as they say, drunk as a skunk. I think that just turned me off, because I was like, I don't know if if I could handle that kind of liquor. And I knew with myself, I was like, okay, I have, chronic illness. Like, I don't think, for me, this is a good idea. But guys, always check with a medical professional. Check your medical history and stuff. I'm not a doctor, so this is not advice. Um, but check that type of stuff too, because with my medical history, alcohol would not be a good idea. So nah, I don't drink. Do I like tattoos? Fuck yes. Some of my favorite, like, romance book covers are just these just tatted up, looking sexy as fuck. They be looking good. Yeah, I like, I appreciate the tattoo daddies, tattoo mamas out there. How you doing? No, just whoring it up today, guys, on shamanic goth. No, I'm horrible, guys. But no, no, I love tattoos. Tattoos are awesome. It takes a lot of guts, guys, to get a tattoo, because I've heard it's not, like, it depends what part of the body too you're getting the tat, but it can be very painful. Some people gotta get numbing cream and, like, all of that. For me, my pain tolerance, yeah, I have a very, what would they say, like, high pain tolerance. Like, so I don't think I could get a tattoo. But for those of you guys who like the tats, right? And let's say, because some people, guys, can't get tattoos either. Because they are, let's say they're allergic, to, like, the tattoo ink, or some people just don't like needles and stuff. They have these, like, amazing, like, semi-permanent tattoos that I've been checking out, and you can wear them for like 2 weeks and stuff, and then they're very easy to take off and stuff. So that's a great alternative. Excuse me here, guys. So yeah, that's a great alternative for you guys who may not be able to get tattoos. And then here's the other thing, guys, about tattoos. I like talking about tattoos, of course. And I also color tattoo art too, which is fun. So I like to color on this really cool program that's called Procreate. But overall, guys, yeah, tattoos can be expensive. So, if you like tattoos, it is an investment. And you definitely, to me, I feel, you really want to get a good artist, because this is going to be, on your body, right, for the long run. And that stuff you gotta be aware of, getting tattoos too, that it's a process, and you want to put something on your body that, like, you like, right, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, tattoos can be really expensive, especially, like, I can't even imagine how much people pay for, like, back pieces, or they do, like, the full, like, body suit, as they call it, or a sleeve, stuff like that. But for me, because my skin is so sensitive, I tend to wear more temporary ones. So that's just what I prefer. But I'm gonna, in the future, I'll have to show you guys some of my favorite, like, temporary tattoo brands, because they got some pretty cool ones, and they look so real too, which is, like, amazing. So yeah, I fucking love them. Love my tattooed daddies and mamas, etc. Do you do you enjoy being high in any form? Partaking in the greenery, as they would say. No. Now, I look, I don't judge people who like to, as they say, partake in in the greenery, and you make sure that you can, right? Because you gotta make sure all that stuff is right. When you partake in the greenery, you gotta make sure you're in a state that you can partake in the greenery, and you have to be of age to partake in the greenery. Okay. I have no problems with people who do that. For me, like I said, I am very sensitive, and at least for me, in the health conditions I have, I could not partake in the greenery. But and then secondly, it would not really be for me. Like like I've tried like alcohol and stuff like that. So, and I know, partaking in the greenery is a little bit different, but I know I would be really sensitive to it. Like I've read, stories of people who have, partaked in the greenery and it was not for them. They didn't enjoy how they felt like, while partaking. So, but nothing wrong. If you partake in the greenery, it's all good, but it's not for me. Do you believe that you have a soul? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it depends. A lot of people believe in like multiple lifetimes and what they call it, reincarnation. I believe in that stuff. I think, we all come back, multiple lifetimes. We still have many things that we want to accomplish and do and learn. So yeah, I would say I have a soul. It's a gothic one though. No. Evil. No, I'm kidding. Did you cry this week? I felt like I've been crying, guys, the last like just the last couple of weeks, because I'm like trying to figure out, this next phase in my life, this next stage in, my career. And, I was going one direction, and all like just everything fucking fell apart. And, I was crying because I was like, man, I've, worked so hard to accomplish this first stage, in my life. And now I'm in the second phase, of my life, and I'm just not getting fucking anywhere. So now I have found, an awesome career, that, I feel will make me happy and all of that. But it's going to take a lot of fucking training and shit, but it'll be worth it in the end. So yeah, I did fucking cry. Fucking life, man. Are you upset with someone right now? Yeah, I'm mad with a lot of people. No, I'm such a bitch though. But here's why, guys. Like, this is why I think I've been upset. Is like, for most of my life, I have, I keep it 100 because it's the test. You gotta keep it real, right? So I would say for most of my life, I have been a big fucking, people pleaser. And, I would always put my needs second to, like, help people. And don't get me wrong, in life, sometimes, yeah, you have to do that. And, if you're a person that's empathic, you're compassionate, and you want to see, other people succeed, and you see the goodwill in people, right? But then, to me, I feel there comes a point in an empath's life, like myself, or a compassionate person's life, where it's like everybody else is, and it's not like you're comparing, you know, your success to someone else's success, right? But there comes a point in your life when you're like someone like myself, and you have, you know, spent a good portion of your life in what I like to call emotional service. And you have helped others to thrive, and, they're successful and they're doing all this amazing stuff. And then you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I have not accomplished anything in my life. Like, I have not accomplished anything in my life. So, I did get upset, I think this week at a couple, people that I know, because I came to the conclusion that there's just a lot of people in my life that take my kindness for weakness, when to truly be kind, guys, like to be a fucking nice, like transparently nice person, is it takes a lot to do that, you know? And it takes like, as you know, there's a saying that says it takes more energy to be kind than to be, than to be rude. It's actually easier to be bitchy to people than to be nice to people. I personally feel, because like when you're bitchy to someone, there's there's emotion there, but it's a different kind of energy that's not as exerting as being nice, like sincerely being nice to people, especially when people are being shitty back to you. And that's the tough thing, guys, about the things that I've kind of learned, about shamanism and at least my spiritual path, um, is that, I have moments I do shadow work and I'm, reflecting and I'm, looking at certain aspects of my life, right? And I was like, dang, I could have like taken time to do something for myself and then help this person. But then I would feel like a sense of like, emotional guilt, like emotional guilt, where I was like, oh, if I don't help this person, then I'm like a bitch. But I've learned now that, sometimes it's okay to be in your villain era. It doesn't mean that you're like evil. Um, but the villain era is, in my opinion now, it's like you reclaiming your emotional sovereignty over yourself, and that people have to understand that you have needs too, and that you need to take care of your needs just as much as you're helping others. And there are times where you need to just have self-love time. And there are times that you just need to get away from fucking everybody and you just, relax. For me, I like calling it going into hermit mode. And like we've talked many times, guys, throughout this Let's Play, about, being an empath. Like sometimes as an empath, depending on the type of empath that you are, you may need time away from people. Like I do. Like I need to just get the fuck away from everybody and fucking recharge. It's not me being it's not me being bitchy or being heartless. But overall, it's just, it's like having time to reflect and go into my inner thoughts and process how I feel, and other things I'm thinking about. Or sometimes I get out my iPad or my tablet and just be creative and just fucking allow my mind to process. And many people, those of you guys who are artists and creatives, you guys understand this shit. So yeah, I'm kind of mad at a lot of people who like they took my kindness for weakness. And now I am reclaiming my emotional sovereignty, and I'm learning who are really my friends, and who are people who just don't care. Is there someone you're not being completely honest with daily? Yeah, I would say yeah. Like I this is the honest truth, guys. In my life, I feel that I have to be two, like just two different people. Sometimes it's like, sometimes I have to be the person that, right, doesn't want drama, you keep the peace, right? And then I have this other side of me that, and everybody deals with this, right? Then I have this other side, which is really myself. But because I know that if I showed this side of me, then I know people would like really judge me, make fun of me, and you know, I keep that side to myself, or I only show it with people that I know that I can open up to that way. Um, so for people, right, to give an example, for those of you who are, sapiosexual or demisexual, you understand this because it's hard, right, to say for some people, I can't speak for all sapiosexual, demisexual people. For definitions here, sapiosexual people are people who are attracted to intelligence, and demisexual people, it's a whole spectrum, but um, excuse me here, guys. So sorry. I'm like gassy today. I gotta get something to eat. But sapiosexual people, or demisexual people, I mean, are people who are, they really connect with people through emotions first, and then they connect in other ways. So it's hard to talk about demisexuality. It's hard to talk about sapiosexuality because a lot of times it depends on the dating culture that you grew up in, but a lot of times it's more about the physical. It's more, oh, this person looks sexy, they're attractive, they have muscles, or whatever floats your boat, right? But with demisexuality, that stuff doesn't like matter initially, right? Some people, it's like, oh, okay, you look good, but like, how's the emotional connection that I have with you? Oh, great, you're the total package, but do we have hobbies and interests that we connect with? Or do you have hobbies and interests that are very tantalizing, and it makes me interested in getting to know you? So a lot of times when you're demisexual or you're sapiosexual, you can be mistaken for being prudish, but it's not. Be like, this is why I'm going to talk a lot about like sapiosexuality, demisexuality, because I really want to help to hopefully bring more clarification and awareness to the community, because I feel it's important. Because some people, like, there's nothing wrong. Like, some people, there's insta love, stuff like that. They fall in love right away. But some other people don't function like that. But that doesn't mean that something is wrong with them. They just have different standards and criteria to how they fall in love with people, you know? So yeah, so I'm really not honest in my, I would say, daily life, because it's hard to sometimes explain to people that you are demisexual or you're sapiosexual. Like it's hard. Like, I'll give another example. So I've been reading to a lot about people who are pansexual, right? So the best way I describe pansexuality, it's hearts, not parts. So it's a whole spectrum too, because I can't speak, right, for all demisexual, sapiosexual, or pansexual people. Um, but it can be tough when you have that perspective, like, oh, I just I like someone that likes me. I really don't have a preference, like stuff like that. It can be a challenge. So for some pansexual, demisexual, sapiosexual people, and there's people who have the intersectionality of all three of that, right? So if you have that kind of intersectionality, a lot of times you're going to keep, some people may keep to themselves. A lot of times, these are the type of people, for example, it may take some time for them, to open up to you. It's not them being prudish or maybe that they don't, want to talk with you. I think they're just observing and kind of understanding you first before they open up themselves. So that's why, like, I personally feel in the future, I think more books are going to be written about different romantic expressions, demisexuality, pansexuality, sapiosexuality, and just what they call, I would like to call, like, intersectional dating, because of all the different dating preferences we have now. I think more books are going to be written about that, so that there's better clarification. um, but yeah, just that's something I like talking about, is just because someone has different dating standards or romantic expressions, it doesn't mean they're a prude. Some people just like to take the time to get to know people, you know? All right. That was a long essay right there. I was But I speak from my heart, guys. Like that's just how I am. That's just how I am. All right. So, I would say yes. Do you understand how this works yet? No. Oh, that's interesting, right? If you answer the questions twice, your truths may change. It's not just about answering questions or answering the questions. It's about the time you spend answering them and the combination you answer them in. It's about many different variables you'll never guess. Do you understand? Yep, that's interesting because it's giving you like this perspective into your like psyche. Oh, that's so cool. Are you wondering if the end of the test is coming soon based on the previous questions you have just answered? No, I haven't really focused on that. If I were to tell you that this entire process was planted here for you, specifically you, to learn something about yourself and anyone else that bothers using this is just a byproduct of its intention, would you believe that? Nah, I wouldn't believe that. Are you afraid of being abandoned? I will say that. And this is just why, guys, because many times in my life I have had like people do that. Like people emotionally abandon me like that, where they just stopped, caring, or they pretend to like me, or they pretended to care. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to open up emotionally to people because of that. Because I'm just like, oh, okay, if I open up my heart again, like, will this person just start to emotionally drain me? You know what I mean? So that's why it's not me being a prude, but I think this is why some people are really, really selective with their heart, and they really observe people before opening up their heart. Because to be heartbroken, guys, is one, to me, it's in like the top 10 like worst emotions you can experience. Because for me, I remember the first time when my heart was broken, man, I felt I felt so emotionally broken. I cried for like weeks on end. It was awful. So 0 out of 10 on that. Don't deal with that heartache. If you can avoid it. But sometimes heartache is unavoidable. That's the thing about like life and romance and love and all these emotions. It's something you take a chance on and then you see where it goes. But it still sucks when you find out, like I found that out, that someone that I cared about didn't really care about me that way. And I was really like pouring my heart and my love and really getting to know them, and I was so smitten by them. And to have my heart broken like that, yeah, that's where that came from for me. That's something I've been kind of observing in my shadow work sessions that I've done for myself. Um, is Yeah, that's one of my concerns, is being emotionally abandoned because of what I've gone through. Okay, give me one moment here, guys. Gonna get that drink it on. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, y'all. I am back, my darlings. All right, let's do this. Are you afraid of dying alone? Not really. You know, um, I thought about that. I was just like, like, would I be afraid of dying alone? I would honestly, guys, have to say no, because in the end, um, we're here, and then eventually we're not here, and you got the aging process, and these are things, guys, that as you get older, you just learn to accept. You're like, yep, I'm getting older. One day, I'm not gonna be here, and that's just how it goes, so I'm not, I would not be afraid. Do you worry that one day you'll unexpectedly be murdered? Dun dun dun. No. uh I don't worry about that shit, because like that's like what I said, like life is what it is, and I've just learned to accept that. You just have to enjoy the moments that you have, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, so I have to say no. Are you always on guard, waiting to fend off an attack? I would have to say no. Mm-mm. Because I've learned that now. Like, you can't just be in this constant state of like emotional fear, because then it's like you're not enjoying your life. So that's something, even myself, that I've had to work on, is, just enjoying my life, and not just feeling that life is just nothing but like emotional fear. Do you feel like I know you yet? Yeah, I would say so. Have you heard any strange noises while answering these questions? No, I have not, and thank goodness, because I would have pissed in my pants. I think we have enough information about you. Whether you have skipped questions, or I can't even talk, answered. Maybe that alcohol question got to me. Fuck. Answered honestly or dishonestly. Took loads of time to respond. It took me 4 days, guys. And then the second game I heard is even longer, so that's probably going to take me a week to finish. But we'll see. Took loads of time to respond, or answered quickly without reading or understanding properly. I've been able to tell. I'm calculating your results. I'm analyzing you very carefully. I'm judging the fuck out of you. No, no, I'm judging you. Based on what you've told me, this is what I can conclude. Oh shit. That you are a bitch and you are a whore. The end. No, I'm joking, guys. I'm horrible. If anyone has been put in a box in this lifetime, it's you. And that just isn't a feasible thing to do with someone such as yourself. I think you know that too. You don't belong in a box. You belong on a pedestal. Because you are magnificent. Whether you understand it, realized it, or even accepted it. You might not like to think of yourself in a way, for the fear of sounding or even feeling arrogant, but let's be real here. People look at you, and your first thought is negative. You get uncomfortable. They're not looking at you for reasons, the reasons that you think. They're admiring you. They're even somewhat intimidated. You give off such a powerful aura about you that people straight up don't know how to handle your presence. They can even appear a bit standoffish at times, but that's not because they don't want to know you. They just don't know how to act around you. You're not like other people. You think it's a problem with you, but it isn't. It's a power to be admired, though it's often misunderstood. Unfortunately, it's even often misunderstood even by you. You need to understand that no matter what you do, not everyone is going to comprehend who you are and what you're capable of, both good and bad. You will, however, find someone who you can open up to completely, because they will be that special key to unlock the gate you keep so guarded. You need to do your best to open up, though. Make yourself a bit more accessible. Give people an opportunity to get to know you. They absolutely love what they see and hear. You need to build some confidence. Or simply fake it. Fake it till you make it. No. They won't know the difference. Trust me. One thing you need to be careful of, however, is trusting what people say and taking it to heart when it's negative. People who don't like you for whatever reason don't dislike you because there's something wrong with you. They dislike you because something is wrong with them. No one who truly got to know you could ever dislike someone so astonishingly in-depth as you. One thing you need to realize is that you might not be as good as some people say you are, but you're definitely not as bad as people say you are either. It's important to live a healthy medium. If you don't understand yet, one day, very soon, you will. Guys, let me tell y'all. Do you know, guys, this was 100% accurate. Oh my, I am shook right now, guys. I am shook. I'm writing down that word. It might be important for some reason. So I'll put that down, the test. This is the first game. And the word is justice. Let's fucking go. But yeah, that is so accurate. Accurate to the point I am shook right now, guys. I am fucking shook. Because that's exactly how I feel sometimes. Okay? Because sometimes, I feel like I have to hide certain aspects of my personality because I feel that, people don't want to get to know me. And sometimes people just will like hate on you for no reason. Because of you being yourself. So, to really love yourself, right? You have to have this healthy medium of self-love and self-care, but also you have to keep, right? Like what the quiz master here is saying, that, you have to keep your heart open in order for people to get to know you. But that's something I'm working on, I will learn to open up my gothic heart someday. We'll see. But it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Your secret word is justice. Remember this word. This will come in handy. Good night. Oh, okay. Take the secret word that was assigned to you at the end of your session and leave it in a comment for us. We will be selecting some of you to be included in future projects we're currently working on. Interesting. This is a genuine opportunity to be part of something forever, to have influence on the creation of something major, and we've done so before and will continue to do continue to do so for as long as you allow us. If you do not wish to be a part of an upcoming project, simply leave your secret word out of your comments and we will not select your name. We appreciate any and all comments. We read them thoroughly on a weekly basis. Wow. Yeah, this game is fucking awesome because it gets it to me. It helps you to like see other aspects of yourself and that you normally would not talk about. And also, this is a great game too if you are, whether you're a PNG tuber, VTuber, or you just it's a great way if you're a new streamer, right? And you just want to introduce like yourself. This is so cool. I'm gonna play all of the games in this test series because it gets better and better apparently with each one. This is still an ongoing project as of 2025, and we will continue to read comments across all of our games as we are constantly creating tremendous opportunities for players to be involved in our experiences. We are working on several games that involve player interaction, some of which player name characters, and some of which players will be able to honor a lost pet. Oh, that's so cute. This is our way of giving back to the community that chose to support us across our titles, and a way to memorialize those precious ones we've lost along the way, giving them a forever home in the cosmos. We currently have a tremendous amount of submissions in the game, and we are collecting more every day. This is a passion project for us, and we really hope you'll be a part of it. Yeah, these games are awesome. I've heard so much about these like games. I bought all of them because they're just fucking phenomenal. Every time we finish a game, we involve players in new games that are in creation, so this offer never expires and you're always welcome to join us in the years to come. Thank you for taking the time to answer these questions. I hope this has been some help to you, and if it hasn't, then hopefully you were able to pull something positive from the experience. If you enjoyed your experience, you can find the test, I think that's the second game, Reality Check, as well as our many other games on our creator page, in our bundles, or simply on the title screen. Yay, we finished the first one! Woo! Oh, guys, this was so fucking good. And it was so accurate to how I feel sometimes. Like these, like shout outs to the team who created this series. Okay, like you guys are just fucking just amazing. Okay. So before I go, I definitely want to to talk about these test games because they're just, they're phenomenal. You can get them on Steam. And it's just fun, if you're into like quizzes and that kind of stuff. These games are, they're bomb as fuck. And I really enjoyed playing the test. And it's really fun. I really like it. It's really good. But a little bit more, guys, about the game here that we have played. And this is coming from that Google. All right, the test is pretty much a series. Oh, this is the second one. Let me get the first one here to talk more about it. Okay, so yeah, I'll bring up the Steam here for it because you can get it on Steam. It's done by Random Studios. So shout outs to the Random. Yes. Okay, like you guys are just fucking amazing. Okay. So this is coming from the Steam page, right? So it says you will answer a series of questions that will reveal the truths from within. These questions may make you uncomfortable. Yeah. There was some juicy ones in there, but I ain't give a fuck. But with great knowledge comes great sacrifice. Can you make it all the way through the test? And if you do, are you sure you want the answers you seek? No, it read me for filth, bitch, but it was good. It was really, really good. And the other thing that I noticed though is I've watched some let's plays of this in the past, and they actually have updated the game because the game looked way different in older versions of it. And then the other thing that I mentioned too is that they updated it with like additional like questions and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I'm on Steam right now, and you can get the complete test complete bundle set. I have it here. It's like $18.67. And it's on yeah, it's like 25% off, which is really cool. So yeah, definitely get it if you want to just, try like a quiz style type of game. I can't even talk, guys. Sorry. But yeah, this is a great game, even for those of you who are, you're a VTuber, you're a PNG tuber. It's a great like debut, for your, for your character and all of that. But yeah, I am so excited. Oh, this is so great, so great. So we'll continue playing. The next game is called The Test Hypothesis Rising. This is a longer one. This is like double the length of this game. But I'm excited. We're gonna, play all of them. I know there's another one that's called Reality Check, and all of that. So yeah, very excited. Very excited. So excited. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for just, following me and everything and your support, and I really appreciate it. I try to stream as much as I can, but mainly you guys will get me on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the Friday. Okay, that Friday, darling. Okay, but no, thank you so much, guys, for the follows, for the support. It means the world to my dark gothic heart. Okay, but guys, like I always say, embrace the creative chaos. I'll see you ghouls later.